classical music isn't one tradition. It's many voices, many cultures, many histories. And when composers bring their traditions into classical music, the music itself is transformed. This is world music in classical music. Across the 20th and 21st centuries, composers around the world have woven their own cultures, folk songs, ritual, rhythm, language, and local instruments into classical compositions in all its forms. Chamber works, solo works, vocal music, opera, and large orchestral writing. To understand how this movement took shape, we begin with the stem composer, Béla Bartók. Bartók didn't simply quote folk tunes. He traveled throughout Hungary and surrounding regions, collecting and recording Hungarian folk songs directly from villagers. He studied their scales, rhythms, asymmetrical meters, and melodic contours at the source. These elements became the foundation of his musical language, not only works like Romanian folk dances, but across his piano music, string quartets, chamber works, and vocal compositions. That lifelong synthesis culminated in one of his most famous late works, the Concerto for Orchestra. Rather than featuring a single soloist, Bartók treated the entire orchestra as a collection of individual voices, while folk-derived rhythm and modal color remained central. If you're enjoying this so far, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow and makes it possible to keep creating content like this. Now back to our programming. Bartók's approach inspired composers around the world to look inward to their own cultures, traditions, and musical language. Now, we're going to be going through a list of composers, and by all means is this list complete. We're just scratching the surface. So let's begin our journey in North America. Let's start off in the United States with Aaron Copland. Aaron Copland absorbed the character of American folk music, its openness, steady rhythms, and directness into a distinctly American classical sound. Works like Appalachian Spring and Rodeo reflect folk dance rhythms, simple melodic shapes, and a sense of space and communal life. And let's now move on to the indigenous people of North America. Jarod Impichaachaaha Tate brings an indigenous voice directly into classical music. In his concerto for Native American flute and orchestra, Chickasaw melodic shapes and storytelling traditions shape the concerto form itself. And John R. Yeagley, a descendant of Native American cultures, helped expand the Native American flute's role in classical concert music. His orchestral writing supports the flute's breath-based phrasing and modal language, preserving its cultural identity. And in Mexico, we have Carlos Chavez. Carlos Chavez built a modern classical language rooted in indigenous Mexican culture. In Sinfonia India, indigenous melodies, percussion color, and rhythmic vitality shape the music from the inside out. And in South America, and particularly in Brazil, we have Heitor Villa-Lobos. Heitor Villa-Lobos blended Brazilian folk traditions, Afro-Brazilian rhythms, indigenous influences, and street music into classical composition. Bachanas Brasileiras No. 5 and the Choro series show how cultural traditions can shape rhythm, form, and expression. And in Europe, we have Igor Stravinsky. Stravinsky transformed Russian folk material into bold rhythmic structures. In The Rite of Spring, folk-derived melodic cells and ritual energy reshape modern classical music. And in Spain, we have Manuel de Falla. De Falla fused Andalusian and flamenco traditions with classical forms. El Amor Brujo and Nights in the Gardens of Spain reflect Spanish rhythm, harmonic color, and expressive gesture. As we journey to Asia, we go to India, where Ravi Shankar brought Indian classical principles into dialogue with Western classical music. His concerto for sitar and orchestra preserves raga-based melody and tala-based rhythm within a classical framework. And moving over to China, we have Tan Dun. Tan Dun integrates tradition, history, and ritual into contemporary classical music. In his Symphony 1997, Ancient Chinese Bells, Solo Cello, and a quotation from Beethoven's Ninth Symphony place Eastern and Western traditions side by side. And in his piece Ghost Opera, sound, gesture, and ritual blur the boundary between concert and ceremony. And now we move down to Africa. And in Africa we have Nigerian composer Akin Iuba. He developed an African panism, transforming African rhythmic systems, speech patterns, and musical thought into the classical form. His mission was to infuse African traditions with the classical form. And in 1970, he composed the opera Shaka. And in Shaka, he infused this successfully. It was internationally known. This is an example of how his work shows the African tradition can reshape classical music from the inside out. As we journey down south and down under to Australia, we have Peter Schulthrope. Schulthrope drew an indigenous philosophy, landscape, and ritual pacing. His music reflects space, stillness, and repetition, allowing culture to shape how music unfolds over time. In his orchestral work Kakadu, which is named after the Kakadu State Park, reflects the landscape, the scenery, and the nature of Australia. Classical music is not confined to one culture or one sound. It is a living art form shaped by voices, cultures, and traditions from around the world. This is only the beginning. If you enjoyed this exploration, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments below which composer or region you'd like to explore next. Until next time, this is Alfred Serenian. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This will help the channel grow for future videos on music history, music topics, world music, and music education. Please visit our website at pashamusic.com for more information on what we produce. We love to hear from you, and if you have a suggestion on a future video topic, please email us at info@pashamusic.com.